bargain bin. Well, I actually wanted to call the bargain bin the blessing bin. I wanted to call it the Oikos blessing bin, but that wasn't approved. So it's called the bargain bin because that's what it is. And that's what we want it to be for you, a bargain and a blessing. So let me tell you about the bargain bin. The bargain bin has in it books which we here at Oikos have not approved as far as standard and quality is concerned. So a little bit of a history. You may or may not know that we spent 5 or 6 years getting printing rights for a lot of the titles that we distribute here in South Africa. So we had to get distribution rights and printing rights from the supplier. So let's take an example, being Konos or Matthew C. or whichever Lattel, the different resources that you might be familiar with. Well, we got printing rights from the various authors and developers and creators of these different resources. And to get those printing rights, we had to meet certain criteria and standards of quality, most specifically. And also, having those printing rights means that we have to keep keeping up to date with the latest revision or upgrade that the developer or author presents or issues to us and says to us, well, we've now got the latest version, so now we need you to change all your master files and now print the latest version. So it's an ongoing process. But we do it here at Oikos, which saves us having to ship these books in across the ocean. And so we can print them on demand, as it were, as orders come. People place their orders on the Oikos online store. We will then see what the requirements are, and then we print accordingly. It's a very time-consuming process because there's people involved. We do have some equipment, obviously, but a lot of these books are handmade. Let me give you a little bit of an example as to how. This book from Ruth Beechek, Adam and His Kin. This has been scanned in, obviously, because now we've got printing rights in it, so we have to digitize the book and make it ready for print, which we call pre-flight, right? And then it's got to be laid out, and everything's got to be straight, and page numbering and everything's got to be 100% accurate. It must pass the standards and the quality that it needs to. But now something happens. Human error comes in, and we go to get to the final stage of doing the book. It's printed beautifully on our printers, and we've stitched the pages together on our stitching machines, and then we've bound it with our glue binder, and now we come to trim it, and it gets trimmed a little bit crooked across here, or across here, whichever way. Or maybe one of those other processes that I was just mentioned, the print, the cover. Maybe there's a little line through it that shouldn't be there because there's a fault on the printer. So what starts to happen is we start to have damaged books. Another example that I've just thought of is the glue. Sometimes the glue is a bit too runny or a bit too thick, so now you get a little bit of a wobble on the spine. So this book is absolutely brand new. Its content has not changed in any way, but the manufacturing of it has resulted in a slightly soiled, damaged book. Now, we're not going to put that out there and you pay for it you order it on the online store and you've paid for a perfect book and you receive one that is cut crooked. That's not great. So we put it through a quality check, 3 quality checks actually, and those are the ones that go on the shelf to go into the boxes, to go out the door, to arrive in your home. But then what about all those that are damaged? So what we do with those damaged books up till now is we've been putting them into what we call the mission room, and then we distribute them from there out to children's homes at a reduced rate. We've now received permissions to be able to pass that reduced rate on to you. So if you are going onto the Oikos online store and you are making your selection and you hop across to the bargain bin or the blessing bin, you might actually find one of the titles there that you're looking for that is going to be discounted. And that is why I'm calling it a blessing, because we are always wanting to do the very best we can to support the families in giving them not just really good quality resources, but the service and the support and the help that comes along with that. As you've probably noticed, there's video clips for every single title on the website. So we're just continually doing our best to try and help you to receive these treasures that we have here at Oikos for you. So you're going to find that if you have ordered one of the books from the bargain bin, It's not going to be perfect, but I do want to assure you that it is brand new. It's not as if it's been passed on or used. It's actually a brand new book, but that's just got some damage on it in its manufacturing process. You might notice the reduced price in the bargain bin will be adjusted from time to time. That is going to be very dependent on what our royalty percentage is, what the rand dollar is doing, what the price of paper is or glue. I'm absolutely stunned at the price of the glue for the back of the books. But so prices just keep going up. And so it's really, really hard to try and keep them as low as we possibly can for you. So our bargain bin reduced prices is going to fluctuate. But I just want to assure you that we analyze and look at every single title, and we try and get it as close as we can to as reduced a price as possible, taking into account all the running costs and royalties and respect and honoring of our creators and developers of this, because I mean they've given us these rights to print, and we really appreciate that and the value of being able to do that right here in South Africa and not having to have all the additional costs of shipping and import and duties and customs and all those things that go with that. So I'm hoping you're going to find that the bargain bin will be a blessing to you. You will find that sometimes it's going to have a lot of books in it and other times it'll only have a few. Actually, an example of that is we had a young lady helping us out last year, and so we had a lot more mistakes than usual, and so consequently there would be a lot more books at that time in the bargain bin than what we would like there to be, because it's a costly exercise to make mistakes, as we all know. However, the more books there are on there, the blessing is moved on to you. So it's going to fluctuate. The price and the quantities is not going to be consistent. So there's the bargain bin. We hope you enjoy digging in the bargain bin, and we hope that you will feel blessed by it.